Hello, and welcome to our second monthly community chat. My name is Caroline Huntoon, and I serve as the head of middle school at Greenhills. I'm honored to introduce our topic for this community chat, the 2020 election cycle. Teaching in an election offers several opportunities and challenges for teachers, students, and the wider community. Throughout this program, we've sought to highlight student voice and to model the respectful discourse we hope to see throughout our community. A special thanks goes out to Karen Scott and Alyssa Friendly for organizing our student speakers and heading up our election framework community. Thank you for joining us and enjoy.
And I'm Riley Pinanen.
And I'm Bhavna Yalavarthi.
And we're here to talk to y'all about the importance of civic engagement. This summer, I was able to participate in a program called Impact 2020 through the Close-Up Foundation and was able to work with 3 other girls from across the country on a project intended to diversify U.S. high school history curriculums. Other projects through the Impact program included topics on the environment, gender inequities, education, and poverty. Eventually, I even got to talk to Chris Evans himself about the past Democratic and Republican conventions. I think the most important takeaway I got from this program is that whatever it is that you're interested in, there's a way to apply it to better your community, whatever that community might look like.
Hello, my name is Michael Keegan.
I'm Yusuf Mia.
And we are going to present today the 2020 election cycle.
So the first thing we wanted to briefly go over is the presidential election this year. Obviously, the first candidate running, I'm sure you guys know, is Joe Biden, who's a Democrat, and his vice presidential nominee is Kamala Harris. Joe Biden has called this election a, quote, battle for the soul of this nation, and has encouraged his party to view this as a very important election in terms of taking down Donald Trump, but as well as promoting some of their common party ideals, such as raising the minimum wage to $15, expanding healthcare access, and building back better for the economy.
And the Republican candidate this year is Donald Trump, who's running along with Mike Pence as his vice president, who has been the vice president for the past 4 years as well. He's running to promote law and order, nominate conservative judges and other justices to the court, also to strengthen the economy. And of course, his slogan is to keep America great.
Right. Now that we've talked about the presidential election, we like to get into some of the more interesting races. So first, we're going to talk about the Senate races. Just some background about the United States Senate. There are 100 United States senators. The Senate is considered the higher chamber of the United States Congress, and their job is to work with the House to pass bills, confirm judges, which has been a big theme of the Republicans for the past 4 years, and to approve treaties. And the current makeup of the Senate is 53 Republicans and 47 Democrats. And in 2020, it is an interesting election because both parties have a chance to control the Senate. So obviously the Republicans already have control of the Senate, and their goal is to prevent the Democrats from taking it back, so that in case Donald Trump were to lose, they would at least maintain the Senate. And the Democrats' goal is to put lots of effort into taking back the Senate, because they know that if Donald Trump wins re-election, the only way to prevent a lot of his agenda goals is to control the Senate. And even if Joe Biden does win, the only way for them to be able to pass any legislation will be to have the Senate. And this year is especially interesting because there are a lot more Republicans up for re-election than Democrats. As you can see, there are 23 Republicans and 12 Democrats. So the Democrats actually do it, even though they are down 53 to 47. They have a real chance to get back and win enough seats to take back the Senate. And here, this is Mitch McConnell, the Republican Senate leader, and Chuck Schumer, the Democratic Senate leader. So now this is a nice graphic which kind of depicts the Senate race this year for you. So as you can see, all these seats that are dashed lines mean that they're potentially competitive. So if you look at it, there are a few Democratic held seats that are potentially competitive where a Republican could actually flip the seat, which are Michigan and Alabama, which is why Michigan is so important this year, because if the Republicans want to prevent the Democrats from taking back the Senate, a big goal of theirs is to win Michigan. And the Democrats obviously need to get every seat that they can get to ensure control, because they're down 53 to 47. And then if you look at all the other Republican-held seats which have dashed lines, that just shows you the numerous chances Democrats will have on election day to flip the 3-4 seats that they need to take back the majority. So you can see Arizona, Alaska, Texas, Colorado, Montana, Kansas, Iowa, Kentucky, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Maine. And the Democrats have been promoting all the challengers in all these states because they know that every seat is important this year.
And I'm going to talk about the House elections, so the House of Representatives. First, I'm going to explain the House of Representatives, and it's important to note that there are 435 representatives, and they are sectioned out to each state based on the population of the state. So for example, Wyoming, since they have less population, only has 1 representative, while California has a lot more representatives. Their role in the government is to pass bills to the Senate. They can write bills and pass them. And also, the important one is the power of the purse. So they have the ability to tax and spend money for the government. Representatives in the House of Representatives often differ from senators because they are considered delegates. So they are more representative of the constituents' views rather from the party views or their own views because they're representing a smaller amount of people. Here is a picture of the House chamber. And let's talk about the current status of the House of Representatives. Currently, there are 198 Republicans versus 232 Democrats. There are also 5 other seats that belong to Libertarians and vacant House seats. Currently, Nancy Pelosi is the Speaker of the House, and Kevin McCarthy is the House Minority Leader for the Republicans. You'll see Nancy Pelosi on the left and Kevin McCarthy on the right. On the right, you'll also see the Squad, who is famous for winning many primary races for very progressive liberals back in 2018. So what's at stake this year? There are 28 toss-up House seats that might be really important for Republicans or Democrats to win, depending on how the tide turns this election cycle. There are also 15 lean Democrat seats and 15 lean Republican seats that might sway either direction. For the representative district that Ann Arbor is within, you have Debbie Dingell. She will likely win. And then for districts which other Greenhills kids might live in, there's Alyssa Slotkin, who represents Lansing and North Oakland County. And then there's also Haley Stevens, who has the Plymouth area and the Canton area and going all the way up through Novi and Bloomfield Hills. Those two last, Alyssa Slotkin and Haley Stevens, are both in lean Democrat districts, so they are more at risk than Debbie Dingell.
Right, and finally, we just wanted to talk a little bit about local elections, which are also important. So other elections you might see on the ballot if you're voting or if your parents are voting are state representative, state senator, prosecutors, city council, and then sometimes there's countywide commissioners and other sorts. And while we didn't go as much into detail about these because there's a lot of variety depending on where you live, you might have different candidates. These are equally important because they make the decisions that affect you the most often when they're making these local decisions. So thank you everyone for your time today and for listening to us talk about the importance of the presidential, Senate, House, and local races.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Anika Manzoor. I'm the Executive Director of the Youth Activism Project, a nonprofit based in Washington, D.C. that helps teens build movements on issues that they're super passionate about. And I'm so excited to be addressing you all about the importance of exercising your voices in our democracy, something that I believe is truly key to saving the world. When I was 12 years old, I didn't know anything about activism. I thought as a South Asian Muslim American girl who often felt simultaneously invisible and hated in society, I didn't think I had a voice that would make a difference. That all changed when I attended a community event to learn about the girls' education crisis in the global South. And I was invited to create an advocacy campaign that would go on to pass federal legislation worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And I helped do that before I could even vote. I'm 29 now, and those policy advocacy experiences as a minor are still the most impactful experiences of my life. And I'm here to tell you, if you don't think you can make change like that, you can. Because I didn't think I could do it, and I did it. So all the doubts that you might have, I'm too young, no one's going to listen to me, throw that out the window. The YouthActivismProject.org has tons of resources to help you out. And now more than ever, we have so many different groups and organizations that are focused on helping you find your voice and make that policy impact that we truly need in this world. So get to work. No pressure, but we're really counting on you all to save our democracy.
There are so many ways to get involved in politics and make an impact. Working on a campaign is great, but can also be overwhelming. While campaigns are always happy for young people to volunteer, you can also sign up to work at a polling location, or just have respectful and productive conversations with the people in your life. Often, it's those personal connections that can make a difference. One super cool opportunity being run by the Sunrise Movement is a postcard writing campaign to people in highly competitive swing districts. You can find the link to their website on the 2020 election GryphOn page and get a stack of postcards sent to you for free.
I know a lot of our focus right now is most likely on the national election, which is obviously validated, but it is so important to understand the significance of local elections as well. Riley and I interned with a local prosecutorial candidate this summer, and it was an amazing experience. Not only did we grow passionate about criminal justice reform, but we saw the huge effects that the local elections can have on our community. At first, we were nervous about the internship. It was unlike anything we had ever done, and we thought we weren't qualified enough to be talking to voters. As we were calling people, we realized we were making a difference, and frankly, we didn't need to be scared. It's important to realize you have to start somewhere, and really the only qualification you need to get involved is the drive to make positive change.
Hi, everyone. We are the leaders of Young Democrats Club.
Young Democrats Club is a group that meets on Fridays during lunch to provide a forum to discuss issues surrounding the election. In the coming weeks before November 3rd, we will be discussing important issues, as well as participating in some group phone banking for Democratic candidates, and potentially hearing from speakers.
The Young Democrats Club is by no means an ideologically uniform group. There are a lot of people in the club who have a diversity of political perspectives. And so you don't necessarily have to identify as a progressive or even a moderate Democrat to be a part of the Young Democrats Club. We're open to inviting new members across the political aisle to discuss issues that are on the line and are at stake in what I would argue is the most consequential election of our lifetime, especially considering a lot of members of my class, the senior class of 2021, will have the ability to vote in this election. Another really important facet of the Young Democrats Club is that in a time of political divisiveness, in a time where media mergers and our partisan press cater to their respective audiences, and it's really hard to sort of discern what's right from wrong, truth from misinformation. And so the Young Democrats Club, also part of our mission is to make sure that you acquire a grammar and vocabulary necessary to develop political literacy and an ability to sort out the clutter of information regarding this election, to come to your own conclusion and to your own ideas about the direction of this country and the vote that will be happening on November 3rd.
We encourage you all to join Young Dems, even if you don't identify as a Democrat. And we would love to hear your thoughts and have you participate in our discussions. We meet Fridays at 12 p.m. and we hope to see you there.
Thank you.
Hi guys, we are the leaders of the Young Republicans Club, which is a new club this year. I'm Gia.
I'm Juliana.
And we are both current juniors. Our goals this year are to make a space for students to talk about their political beliefs and engage in fruitful discussions. By no means are we a selective group. We are here to listen to everyone's point of view. So remember, anyone and everyone is welcome.
As a group, we believe it is important to get both sides of the political story, especially with the election coming up, and this being a very important one considering our seniors can vote.
If you're interested in joining us Tuesdays during club time, don't be afraid to reach out. Thank you.
If you take anything away from this assembly, we hope it is that youth voices matter and that you can make a difference. And who knows, you might even meet Chris Evans on the way.
Every voice makes a difference. You don't need hours of time or to be an expert. You just need to be passionate and want to work for change.
Don't forget to check the 2020 election GryphOn page for opportunities to get involved, either nationally or locally. And we can't wait to see what our Greenhills community is capable of.
I'm Ms. Scott, and I'm a teacher in the History and Social Studies department. Alongside Alyssa Friendly, our Director of Service Learning, and our student leaders you heard from earlier this evening, we've put together some election resources for the Greenhills community. You can find these resources on our 2020 election GryphOn page. It looks like this, and I'm going to give you a little tour of the resources that are here. You can find this election page on GryphOn by using the search bar and typing in 2020 election, and you'll land here. You'll see a little welcome. You have the email addresses for myself and Mrs. Friendly if you would like to contact us about election resources and if you would like anything added to this page. You can use this link to register to vote if you'll be 18 by November 3rd, Election Day. And then here is a link to a document called the 2020 Election Greenhills School Guidelines for Discourse. As we enter a school year that aligns with a presidential election, it is important that the Greenhills community unites around guidelines for discourse that are respectful, ethical, and informed. By doing so, we aim to further our students' civic responsibility by cultivating intellectual rigor, ethical reflection, and emotional engagement. You can see there are some steps for setting up a respectful discourse about the 2020 election, such as setting goals, discussing guidelines, implementing effective discussion strategies, and reflecting on the discussion. There are additional resources linked here as well from some experts. There's also a note from Peter, our head of school, Quincy, our associate head of school, and Caroline, our head of middle school, on political neutrality. If you dig further on our GryphOn page, you'll see opportunities for youth to get engaged in the election, whether it be local, state, or national. You can see websites you can visit to get more information or to learn more. You can even find a video game series called iCivics if you want to experience our political system, civic engagement, or learn what it's like to be on the Supreme Court. We've included an interactive political map from 270 to Win. And on the right-hand side of our GryphOn page, we have some upcoming events that are free and open to the public. Some of these are hosted by the University of Michigan. Some are hosted by the resources we've used to populate this page, like Facing History and Ourselves. So if you're interested in attending any of those, all virtual, those registrations are there. We hope you engage in whatever way is possible for you in the upcoming 2020 elections. And don't hesitate to reach out to myself or Mrs. Friendly if you would like to see more resources up on this page. Thank you. To continue our Election 2020 conversation, we will be holding an all-school virtual event with Yamiche Alcindor. Alcindor is the White House correspondent for PBS NewsHour and political contributor for NBC News and MSNBC. This conversation will be a moderated discussion where she will speak with students about her experience as a journalist and thoughts on election 2020.